The text message came in on a Tuesday afternoon in October. I was standing in my kitchen, defrosting chicken for dinner, half listening to my 4-year-old narrate a cartoon in the next room. My phone buzzed on the counter. Unknown number. I almost didn't open it. It said, "I think you deserve to know. Your husband has a son. He's 7 months old. The mother's name is Danielle. I'm sorry." And then, nothing. Just a photo. A baby. And a man I had been sleeping next to for 11 years, holding that baby like he'd done it 100 times before. Because he had. From the outside, we were the kind of family that made other people feel hopeful. Marcus and I met in college, got married at 27, bought a house in a good school district, had 2 kids, Lily and Owen, who were sweet and loud and wonderful. We went to church every Sunday. We took the kids to the beach every summer. We had a group of couple friends we did game nights with, and Marcus was always the one who made everyone laugh. He coached Owen's t-ball team. He remembered the names of my friends' children. He told me he loved me. Every single morning before he left for work. He worked in IT project management. Predictable hours, home by 6, sometimes 6:30 if traffic was bad. We never fought about money. We never fought about anything serious, really. I used to tell my sister that our marriage wasn't exciting, but it was solid. That we were the boring kind of happy. I believed that. I believed it completely. After I read the message, I sat down on the kitchen floor. I don't remember deciding to do that. My legs just stopped. I called the number back. It rang and rang. No answer. To this day, I don't know who sent it. Some part of me will always be grateful to them. Some part of me wishes I never had to know. I didn't call Marcus. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just pulled up his location on our family sharing app, the one we set up when I was pregnant with Owen so we could find each other in an emergency. And I watched the little dot that was my husband sitting completely still at what I now understood was not his office building. He'd been there for 2 hours. I had dinner on the table by the time he came home. I watched him hug our kids. I watched him wash his hands at the sink. I watched him sit down and say, "Smells great, babe." And I thought, how? How are you doing this? How have you always been doing this? I waited until the kids were in bed. His first instinct was to deny it. He actually looked me in the eye and said the photo could be anyone, that he didn't know what I was talking about, that someone was trying to cause problems. He said it calmly. Practiced. And that's when I understood that I had never really known the person I was married to. I showed him the location data. 18 months of Tuesdays and Thursdays, parked in the same neighborhood I'd never heard of. He stopped talking. What came out over the next few hours was this. Her name was Danielle. They had been together for 3 years. She got pregnant. The baby, his son, was born the previous March. Our family beach trip was in July. I have a photo from that trip. Marcus is carrying Lily on his shoulders, both of them laughing, the ocean behind them. I posted it with a caption about summer and family and being grateful. His son was 4 months old when that photo was taken. He knew. He had known since before the birth. He'd been to the hospital. He'd chosen a name with her. And then he'd packed a bag, driven 3 hours to the beach with us, and not said a single word. That is the thing I will never be able to make sense of. Not the affair. Not even the baby. It's the months of silence after. It's the fact that he looked at me across the breakfast table every single morning knowing what he knew and chose nothing. He chose to let me live inside a life that wasn't real. I filed for divorce in November. My attorney is good. My mother came and stayed for 6 weeks. My kids are in therapy. And honestly, so am I. And I'm not ashamed of that anymore. Some days I grieve the marriage I thought I had. I grieve the version of Marcus I believed in, the one who coached t-ball and remembered everyone's kids' names. I don't know exactly what was real and what wasn't. I'm not sure I ever will. What I do know is this. I am not defined by what he chose to hide. I am not the woman who didn't notice. I am the woman who kept a beautiful life running, while someone else was quietly burning it down. My children still have their mother. She's still standing. That's enough for today.